Hello and welcome to the PreciseCricket podcast with me, your host Matt Machan, and I'm delighted today to be joined by a very special guest, Mr. Phil Salt. How are you, Phil?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Obviously, the first podcast we have, or Precise have done with a guest, and what better way to have you on it? So I'm delighted you've accepted to come on, and I'm looking forward to chatting to you over the short while about everything you've done over the last 4 or 5 years.
Nice, mate. Looking forward to it.
So, firstly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. Obviously, you've got some off time now, some downtime from playing this year. How has this year been with COVID?
It's been a funny year.
Yeah.
I would not have seen it going like this. When everybody was on pre-season, the lads were in Cape Town. I was at PSL at the time, but I would have never have predicted this summer. First we're coming back and the lockdowns, and then coming out of it being in a return to training group with your own, I think it was 7 or 8 cricket balls that only you could touch.
That's mad, isn't it? Imagine that, just you're practicing and it's like, right, these are your cones, these are your balls, and you can't do anything else.
It's crazy.
You get one coach for you and that's it.
The 2 weeks before that, the test boys were coming back first, and Joffre had his own stumps.
Can you imagine that?
So they said
your own stumps.
Yeah.
You know those old school bowling markers you got?
Yeah.
One of them with your name on it.
Yeah.
Your own water bottle, your own coach.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Was it little things like stretch bands as well that were all yours?
Yeah, stretch bands, medicine balls. I stole them off the club, so I just nicked them, but some poor bastards had to put their hand in the pocket for them.
Sussex are picking up the bill now.
I've got rollers with, the tape, just tape over them and just write your name in it. Salty.
Yeah.
I've got rollers,
Brilliant.
I've got med balls. I've got those bands, I've got TheraBands,
TheraBands.
I've got the bands to activate your glutes. If you need any, just let me know.
I might have to take you up on that.
Yeah.
Because I've just cancelled my gym membership and got a Peloton.
How good.
Yeah, Peloton. I'm into my cycling. Bit too scared to get a road bike at the moment, but I know you're trying to persuade me with that. And I know you've been doing a lot of cycling. But yeah, I am a bit too scared at the moment to go on the roads, but I'm loving my cycling, so I cancelled my gym membership. So I might have to take you up on it. Have you got any weights as well? Any weights that I can nick as well?
I took a few weights,
Have
but
you?
I had to give them back because they were on to me about that.
No, especially when you're driving out of training and your boots just weighed down.
Yeah, there's a 20 kilo plate, a 37.5 kilo, and a 35 kilo one.
I love that. Just in your lounge at home, just doing some weights.
I know.
I remember I called you once and you were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You're like, "Yeah, just doing my weights." Like, what weights you doing? You're just doing my calf raises.
Yeah,
just doing your calf raises. Lounge at home. But no, I wanted to get you on. Obviously, for those watching on YouTube, this is obviously recorded as well. But for those of you listening on Spotify or Apple, thank you very much. But the reason why I wanted to get you on is because I've known you for a while. We're good friends, and it's nice to see someone who you've known for a while progress as quickly as you have progressed from... When did I first meet you? When you were at 16, 17, coming down on the academy?
Yeah, it would have been in a walkabout when I was about 17.
Getting in there. So we've known each other for a while, and the transition you've made from sort of the 17-year-old spotty kid having a slog in the nets at Hove to now being one of England's most promising young white ball batters in such a short space of time. And we'll touch on that in a minute, but in such a short space of time, that must be... Well, that's why I wanted to get you on, because it's a great story for any young cricketer or any cricketer out there listening to it and understanding what those 1-2% switches were to, I guess, change your game. Because there's no surprise, in the last 2 years, you've gone from not playing all forms at Sussex at the start of 2018 to 2.5 years later travelling the world, pretty much playing in every domestic T20 tournament going. There must have been some shift, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So, how did your time come at Sussex? Because I know your background was, you're born in Wales, right?
Yep.
Moved out to Barbados?
Yep.
Any time in America?
Bits and pieces, but never lived there.
So how come you moved from Wales to Barbados? So
So
that's quite a big change. From the hills in Wales, where there's sheep everywhere, to the Caribbean shores is quite a big difference. How did that come about?
It was a massive difference at the time. My dad just got a job.
Okay.
That he couldn't turn down, I guess.
Nice.
So we all went out to Barbados, which was brilliant. Obviously, as soon as I went out there, there's no real great standard of football.
It's true.
I mean, the talented blokes out there.
Yeah.
Like, you get left for dead.
Yeah.
So we're playing in North Wales. You know, every team would have, you know, a couple of lads who are all right, but then over there is some blokes with serious skill.
Yeah.
But the football knowledge over there isn't like it is over here.
Right. Okay.
So there's a huge gap. You know, the lads are like proper talented, proper skilled, but there's a huge gap in knowledge and tactics and all the rest of it.
Right.
Whereas cricket, they're all just mustard.
Because you see that, and who played? I bet everyone supports Man United, right?
Yeah.
Who played? Is it Dwight York? Andy Cole? No, Dwight York. One of them's from Barbados, isn't he?
Dwight York's from
or Caribbean
Trinidad,
Island.
I think.
Right. Yeah. So that's how obviously the Man United link with the Caribbean's big. But going on to the cricket, it must have been a complete change because you're growing up in Wales playing, I presume, your local village club or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then obviously Barbados isn't a massive place.
No.
You can drive around the island in a day, half a day probably.
Half a day, yeah.
Half a day. So I guess everyone knows each other. And you know all the promising young lads coming through. But in terms of the coaching aspect, how did that differ? Because you watch the IPL or you watch the CPL and you see all these young lads just coming out swinging. Is that the way they're brought up playing? Aggressive, attacking cricket because they can?
Yeah.
Because it's good wickets? Whereas in the UK they can't because it's swinging and nipping.
Yeah.
Would you say that's fair?
100%. The coaches that I had
Yeah.
in Barbados encouraged me to be natural more than anything else, and take the game on and be positive, and use that as my point of difference.
Right, okay.
Because you sort of come over here and you can go to any like under 15 club nets, under 15 county nets of any club or county, and you can guarantee how the batters are going to bat. Before you even get there, they're all going to have a nice sort of upright posture, nice high back lift. You know, there'll be some sort of back and across trigger. You know, everybody's gonna bat like that.
I could not agree more.
But yeah, in Barbados, it's completely the other way, and everything's just encouraged to be natural, and you know, to sort of let your talent come out. I remember I was very young. Must have been 15 or so, and I can't remember the exact wording, but I was basically told, if you're not relaxed and just reacting to the ball, how are you ever going to let your talent come out? If you're so constantly stiff, how are you just going to let your talent come out?
That's so true. And I'll back that point up, because obviously going from playing into coaching the last 3 years, I've coached quite a lot of good young players, and half of them just bat exactly the same. They stand upright, they trigger back and across, and they just try and hit in the V. And when actually you get those, not arrogant kids, but you get those ones who don't like rules and they don't like being told what to do, and they're the ones that have more flair and more talent playing shots, if that makes sense.
100%.
Like there's a lad I'm coaching, he's a really talented player. He does not care about anything technical, he just tries to belt it from ball one, but his technique, because he does that, is better than someone that's been coached properly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And do you think, leading on from that, we'll go back in a minute to the Barbados point, but do you think that's why now you're extremely good at opening the batting in one-day cricket? Because for those of you who don't know, in one-day cricket in the top of the order, especially T20, the bowler's trying to bowl top of off stump, back of a length. That area where you want to come forward, you're not sure go forward or back. But that's a strength of yours, isn't it? Because this is why I was asking if you grew up in America. It's almost like a baseball shot you play.
Yeah.
You take the bowler's good length away naturally.
Yeah.
And do you think that has massively helped you? And do you think it goes back from when you were younger playing in Barbados?
Definitely. I think that comes from baseball, that side of things.
You like your baseball, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That it's like it's like a low strike.
Right, okay.
So that's like just a sort of like top of the stump's length.
Yeah.
And when I played baseball, I was good at hitting low strikes, and I was good at hitting low balls as well. So when the ball was out the strike zone, reaching down and still making a good contact.
Right, okay.
So that was like one of my strengths, whereas when somebody could like throw proper heat and they could get it up in the strike zone, then I'd get done. So if I was playing against somebody who could throw good gas and they were hitting the top of the strike zone, I wouldn't get on base at all. But and then especially if they had some sort of breaking ball that could do me for lack of pace. But when guys got it down in the zone, I could always get on base.
See, that's amazing. And for anyone listening out there, you obviously played a lot of baseball, didn't you, when you were growing up, and other sports. playing other sports has massively helped you in your profession now, hasn't it?
Of course it has.
And a lot of kids now go, no, I'm going to concentrate on cricket or football or rugby because they're naturally good at it. But you've got to play other sports, man.
You have to.
You have to.
How can you not?
Because you would not be able... listening to that, I would say you would not be the player you are now without having played baseball when you were younger.
No.
You wouldn't be able to hit a bowler's good length, naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's anyone in the UK that can do it consistently as well as you do.
No.
Really, if we're being brutally honest.
Yeah.
Everyone hits through, either stays leg side of it and hits through cover, because they've been brought up in a naturally correct way.
Yeah.
There's no one that just stands in the middle and hits a bowler's good length over mid-wicket in cow corner. Do you know what I mean? It's not, is it?
No, it's pretty rogue.
And people are like, oh, he's slogging. But actually, it's slogging if you do it 3 in 10 times.
Yeah.
But you're doing it like 80, 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Especially in the top 6, where you've got one fielder out of deep square.
Yeah.
People just can't bowl to you.
Well, people have started changing now.
Have they? What have they been
People
doing?
started going cow and deep square.
But then surely that's...
It plays into my hands perfectly.
Because then you can stay leg side of it.
Yeah.
And then anything on middle and off stump.
But I don't like staying leg side of it.
Right, okay.
So even when they put those two out,
yeah,
I'm still looking to hit the ball hard and flat. Because there's only 2 blokes out there.
you've got to get it. Even you get if your power 5-10 yards either side, it's still 4, isn't it?
Because as soon as bowlers do that, they all miss short.
Right.
So now I'm just playing everything off the back foot because they know as soon as they do that, the bowler doesn't have none of them are brave enough unless the top bowlers to come full, to miss full. Because if they miss full, it's just poor bowling. So they'll always miss short or bowl a cutter or change your pace or something.
And they have to get it just right, otherwise it's runs, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting. So it's nice how your other sports have now massively helped what you're doing. But going back to your Barbadian point of playing different sports and being quite natural, then coming over to the UK and going to school in the UK from 16?
Yeah.
How did that link come for you getting to Sussex? Because obviously you went, for those that don't know, Phil, you went to school in Surrey, is that right?
Yeah, I went to Reeds in Surrey.
Reeds, obviously a very good cricket school. Ollie Pope went to
No,
Reeds?
Pope was at Cranley. But I played club cricket with him at Guildford.
Right, I knew you knew him for that link. I thought it might have been school. So, obviously it's Surrey, very strong. Well, independent cricket's very strong in Surrey, as it is in Sussex. But how did you get from Surrey to Sussex?
Well, I kept trialling. I trialled 3 times a year, every year, for Surrey.
What, they didn't pick you up?
No.
Here's Phil.
Yeah. 3 times a year,
mate.
every year. Every time I thought, yeah, this is me now. I've made so many improvements. I've worked so hard here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in. And every time I pitched up 3 times a year, every year, you've not made the cut this time. You've not made the cut this time.
Was there any area system that you could go back into? Because Surrey's massive. It's pretty much half of London, isn't it, in the south east?
Well, when I started getting involved in, I used to be in, the sort of bigger squad. So if there was an inter-squad game at the start, which there was, every summer.
Here he comes, the guy that can't get in because he slogs it to cow corner.
Yeah, literally, yeah. If I'd used to be a member of the squad for those games, and I remember the email would always come through. Right. Congratulations, inter-squad game, all this stuff.
But never quite made the cut.
No, and because obviously I was at boarding school, so I was by myself, so if it was half term and I was lucky to have one of my parents over, I'd be like, Mum, I'm really sorry, we gotta go to the Oval and get the kit. So my mum, it got to about 2 years in when I was having the inter-squad games, and she said, didn't we do this last year and you didn't get a game? Yeah. So why are we doing it again?
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, Mum. So every year I used to go, I think I've been 3 years.
It's nice getting a new kit though.
Buy the kit. Oh, it's belting kit.
Isn't it?
Used to wear it around school. Used to get swagger on.
Play for Surrey, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Not the B team, just
yeah. But I could never get in because it was a strong age group.
The age group. How old are you? 24 now?
Yeah.
So this a strong age group.
It was a strong age group. I mean, Popey was just below, but there were a lot of lads that had sort of come through all the way up.
Yeah.
I mean, Sibbers' age group, some good cricketers.
That's a strong age group. And
yeah, I mean, Sibbers used to get double 100 every game.
Sibbers is Dom Sibley, for those that don't know who Sibbers is.
Yeah, it was
that's the calibre you were competing with, wasn't it?
Yeah, under 17 cricket, I remember, I think he got 3 double 100s in a summer.
Just
under
and that shows now.
Yeah.
But on that point though, he learned how to churn big runs from a young age.
100%.
There's no reason why now he's churning for England.
Yeah.
But so obviously you then got a trial at Sussex, I presume, because your mum's sick of you getting brand new kit and not playing a game every year.
Yeah, so what happened was I wasn't getting in, and Medders, Keith Medleycott, who was the pro at Reeds, he sort of saw and said, what's going on here? He's not getting a game. Can we ever talk to other counties? whatever. And he did, and he spoke to Grubby, and I played an under-17s game against Oxfordshire.
Right, okay. Sussex have a link with Oxfordshire, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah. So I played against that end of the summer. I think I got 40 odd in one of the innings.
How many through Cow Corner?
Oh, I don't know, but I hit one onto the roof at Blackstone.
Did you?
At the
Nice
time, that
feeling,
was a good hit.
That's a good hit.
So that's a good hit now.
Off the roof.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
And that's like 35 yards.
Yeah, literally 35 yards. It's just past the disc. So I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't as big as I thought.
Yeah.
Felt like the fella.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later, you know, I didn't hear much from them. And then I was told that I was going to be playing in twos game for Sussex against Durham.
So you've gone from not getting a game from Surrey,
Yeah,
and in the space of, I guess, 6 months to 12 months, however long that period would have been, to then playing second team cricket.
yeah,
Because Sussex had seen something in you.
yeah,
I presume your natural ability to strike a ball at that age.
yeah.
Hitting that 35-yard six at Blackstone.
Oh, you
And
should
you
have
thought,
seen
right,
it.
we're going to get him in the team for Durham.
You should have seen it.
Was it big?
Oh my god.
Off spinner?
Yeah, it's still in the air now.
Is it? Just coming down.
Yeah, it was
It's like
huge.
a pitching wedge just up and down.
Straight up the chimney.
So you played against Durham,
Yeah.
second team debut, and I presume it just went from there really. Sussex
Yeah.
said we want to keep you, and that's it really.
Yeah,
So you got Sussex kit then as well,
I got
but
Sussex.
you got a
kit.
game this time,
You should have seen me.
was it?
And it was
Kid
the,
at
it was the
Christmas.
first day. It was the second day. Could have even been the third day of school.
Yeah.
So I'm quids in here. I've missed the first 2 days of school. Everyone's like, "Where's Zoe? Where's Zoe?" Don't worry about where I've been, boys.
Dominating the Durham attack.
And I remember pitching back to school in my kit.
Yeah.
Like,
Look at me. I've arrived, chaps.
one of the lads, Boarded, used to play for Surrey as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
That's brilliant.
That's
I love that. And then that would have been when you were 18, and I guess you got,
Yeah.
an academy contract at Sussex.
Yeah, got a year in the academy.
But it's amazing, that story though. 15, 16, 17 at boarding school, not really getting a game for Surrey.
No.
Thinking, you know, playing other sports as well, but thinking, I like cricket, I'm good at cricket, but I'm not getting a shot. And then within 6 months,
Yeah.
you were playing second team cricket at Sussex
Yeah.
on the academy. And I guess it shows how quickly it can change from
Yeah.
not being recognised by anyone to then all of a sudden being a second team player. Because once you play
Yeah.
the game, you're technically classified as a second team player, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So it goes to show people out there that keep working, keep enjoying it, and you never know when your
100%.
opportunity is going to come.
And I was always very clear. I always worked hard as
Yeah,
I could in my cricket, and I was always very clear where I wanted to go with my cricket, and still am. So I knew that was going to come,
Yeah.
like in myself. I knew like it didn't matter to me when at the time, whether it was going to happen when I was 30 odd or whether it was going to happen in a week's time back then. I knew it was going to happen if I just kept working hard enough.
So you had that inner belief, I guess, and the confidence to say, right, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it.
100%.
Which is a great attitude to have, and I think that's one of your best assets. If I'm honest with you, obviously known you quite well. I've never heard you say, I'm out of form or I'm not doing this well. It's
No.
always, even if you are having a stinker, you almost put up that. It's called imposter syndrome, isn't it? Where you pretend you're someone else even though you're not.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's called imposter syndrome. So they talk about it quite a lot in the business world or whatever it may be. If you're not confident doing something, you have to have almost like a second coat of skin and pretend that you are that person, a bit like acting.
Alter ego.
Alter ego, yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that. So your alter ego. So it might be whatever it may be. You've never made a cup of tea for someone before. This is a really random example, but you've never
Yeah.
made a cup of tea for someone,
Yeah.
and they go, "Oh, Phil, can you make a cup of tea?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, I've made," and you might have made a cup of tea like 3 or 4 times on your own before. And you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna smash it," but you deliver it in confidence that when you deliver that cup of tea to that person who wants it,
Yeah.
even if it tastes like shit,
Yeah.
because you've got the confidence and bravado to say, "This is it.
Yeah.
I've done it. Look at it," and they go, "Oh, it's not great. It might be a one-off," even though it's your first ever cup of tea you made. And it's like imposter syndrome, and I think you do that well without realising it. Not an ego, but obviously you're a
Yeah.
very confident lad and you back yourself, because you said when you were 15, 16 you were going to be a pro, or you were going to play cricket, even though you weren't even playing for Surrey age group at the time.
Yeah.
But even now when I speak to you, when it's going well, you don't even talk about cricket. But when it's going okay, you're like, "Yeah, I've got a score around the corner. I'm smashing it in the net." So you might have hit it like an absolute...
Busted ass.
Exactly, but that's the mindset you have, and I think that's why I'm not meaning to blow smoke up your arse here, but I
No,
think
great. I'm enjoying it. Go on.
But that's why I think you can go around the world comfortably and fit into environments which are quite nerve-wracking, and I guess you're anxious and nervous about going to a new environment, but you seem to just seamlessly go into them and do well from ball one.
Yeah.
Because you have that confidence and that bravado to say, no, this is what I do. This is how I'm good enough. And if you don't like it, someone else is going to back me and do it. See what I mean?
100%.
I think
That comes
key.
from, and that's not just cricket either. Like my dad's always said, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like he could just drop me off anywhere, any sort of sports place, and I'd just fit in and make friends. Like it just happened.
You've just reminded me of something there.
Go on.
If you drop you off at any sports, so no one would know this, but you went to Dubai, didn't you, when you were about 19? And this is what I mean. You can drop you off playing any sport and you fit in.
Yeah.
You played an American football game in the full kit in Dubai, didn't you?
Yeah.
Please talk me through how that happened, because that is imposter syndrome, isn't it? That is you in a nutshell. I don't know. I've never heard you speak about American football.
Yeah.
But yeah, on YouTube, what's the team called?
LA Desert Foxes.
The LA Desert Foxes have had a future international batter. Was it quarterback? No, running back?
No, safety.
Safety, whatever that is, I don't even know.
Played safety, yeah.
Played safety, and it's filmed, isn't it? And it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I got player of the game.
Exactly. How many American football games or NFL games did you play before that?
I played flag football at school. So when I was at international school, we had flag football.
A bit like touch rugby, essentially.
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
which is run by who's it run by? Mr. Kevin.
Mr. Kevin.
Mr. Kevin. It was an international school, really weird, like
Yeah.
loads of like Americans and stuff. So everybody was first names.
Really?
So the teachers were first names. So you'd be Mr. Matt.
It
It was so good. I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Mr. Kevin used to run it on a Monday night, and I used to have a laugh.
Brilliant.
All the American and Canadian kids would take it so seriously.
Hey man, hey Chad.
Yeah, to the
Hey,
point
Austin.
to the point where it wasn't even funny.
Really?
It was just like, would you pack it in?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you played flag
football.
Flag football, it's
Yeah.
called. And was this your first ever
It was
suited and booted,
yeah,
helmet on,
competitive gaming pads. Yeah.
and you got man of the match?
Player of the game.
Player of the game, man. but that's what I mean. It's like you've played flag football,
Yeah.
and you know what? It must have been a 3-4 year gap between playing flag football
Oh yeah, easily.
and then your first proper game,
Yeah.
and you've just rocked up. Like, yep, I know what I'm doing, and you win player of the game.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's you in a nutshell. You're just like, I've done it before. Give
Yeah,
it
I
a
can
crack.
do it
If
easy.
it doesn't work, I'll work it out at the end.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But going back to the cricket, you then got signed when you were 18, 19, didn't you?
Yeah, I got signed when I was. Yeah, I'd have been 18. No,
Straight out of school,
when
wasn't
I was 18, 19.
19.
Yeah.
So I remember, because I was on the staff here at the same time, and we played club cricket together at Brighton. And what I remember watching you in the net, and at times there was this young kid who absolutely whacked it against everyone,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this kid can play.
Yeah.
And there's something inside you like, this kid can play. And then there are other times I'd watch you back, and this is not being disrespectful to you, but you looked awful.
Yeah.
And you're trying to reverse sweep people in the nets like seamers, and that's what I mean. What I was trying to say earlier about listening to people and doing it your way, because the typical
Yeah.
English way is be correct, play properly. But you are a maverick. You do things your way.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So you, at 18, 19 when you're on the staff, you would run down second ball in a 4-day game and try and hit someone for 6.
Yeah.
And then you're on 30 not out playing beautifully, playing properly, and then you would try and reverse sweep a seamer
Yeah.
in a 4-day game, and I'd be like, I would be watching and be like, mate, you're 35 not out on a flat one in the second team. You want to play first team cricket? If you bat for another 15 overs, you got 100 here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's a fair comment. If I'm honest with you.
I look back on them days, and I can honestly tell you,
Yeah.
and this has just got to be how fresh I was to the environment at the time. At no point when I was like practicing like reverse sweeps or trying like figuring stuff out, because I wasn't doing it to be a knob. You see some guys do it on purpose to like put a bowler's trousers down and just say, can't bowl at me, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I was genuinely just like young guy, just having a bit of fun, seeing what I could do, all the rest of it. But at no point did it occur to me that other pros, you know, lads that have been in the dressing room for years and years, played a lot of cricket, would be there watching me going, what's he doing?
But this is what I want to touch back. That's a great point you mentioned. But this is what I mean about different upbringings.
Yeah.
Because you're brought up in Barbados, essentially,
the
majority of the time playing cricket, that would be a licence to play. And I think that shows how the West Indian team play, because they're either going to get 350 off 50 overs or they're going to get bowled up for 100.
Yeah.
They never really get 210 for 7.
No.
It's either one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit like you. But if you were brought up in England, I don't think you'd be the player you would be.
No.
Because you would be so technically correct, and because you would have been around those experienced pros from a younger age, because you were talented, that would have probably been coached out of you.
I mean, I was raw enough when I was in Barbados, just natural, all the rest of it. Then when I came over to England, the first thing that sort of happened was Keith Mednicott at Reeds had to put a bit of structure into my game.
Right, okay.
So because he had to put a bit of structure into my game, I didn't know how much structure was the right amount of structure for me to do well. So I had a few years like battling, like being free, just hitting the ball, and also structure, whether it's trigger, where are my hands, where's my head, what's going on, sort of thing. So I had to really battle that to not turn into everybody else, because it was very easy for me to look around and see that I had 5 or 6 teammates at the time in my school team that were all in the Surrey age group. And I'd look around, I'd go, back and across trigger, hits in the V, back and across trigger, hits in the V, back and across trigger, hits in the V, back and across trigger, hits in the V. And I was there going, what do I need to do to play for Surrey?
Back and across
trigger. Well, it's got, that is exactly what you
got one of them, you tick it off, you're in.
Yeah, that's exactly, you got to get the back and across trigger.
Yeah.
You got to get some real nice pads, push them down, make sure you look the real deal.
Break the bottom of them so they break over the toe.
Pop your collar.
That's sweatband at Surrey.
Yeah, sweatband as well. They did have sweatbands like that, boys. Sweatbands, and then you're good to go.
That's it.
But that's what I saw. And the only kid who wasn't doing that, which funnily enough, the only kid who is also a pro in the game now is Dan Douthwaite.
At Glamorgan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could make him, aren't you?
Yeah, so we went to school together. Danny D, when we were that age, bat a different way every day.
I love watching him play.
Some days he'd be like closed off.
He literally tries to tee it,
hands everywhere. Yeah. Other days he'd be wide open and just punging it over cover, over mid-wicket. The talent was unbelievable. But me and him are the only two lads to play professional cricket from that time at Reeds.
Yeah.
And we're the only two who were not coached in that specific
regimented way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I've never met Dan, I don't know him, but I like watching him play. Be interesting to ask you, I'm sure he won't let me ask this even though I've never met him, was he someone that listened to rules or not? Because he seems me as a character, the way he plays, if you said please don't listen, he'd be like, do you know what, do one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He doesn't.
But that's funny though, because you do it your way, a bit of a maverick. He obviously wants to do it his way. But you're the only two that have made it. Everyone that's got a back and a truss crigger is probably head still falling over to the offside now. And they're getting done LBW. So, yeah, I think you've got to break rules. I think the best players break rules and they do it their way.
I think they do. We were very different characters though. Like if a teacher, when we were growing up, when we got to like sixth form, if a teacher was giving us a bollocking or whatever, Danny D would be very much like, oh, sorry.
You'd be laughing in their face.
But I'd literally... I mean, do you know Ben Haney?
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, I remember.
He was my first S&C coach at Sussex.
Yeah.
I was like 13.
Ben Haney, I remember he great lad, and he gave us the bollock in the sixth form house because I hid the register. So he was doing the register. I knew he was on register duty, and I hid the register. Lost his head. Bollocked me. Yeah. Like in front of everybody. Everybody was like pissing themselves, saying, "Oh, what dickhead so he is." And then after he finished bollocking me, he turned around and tripped over a chair. Turned around, loses it at me again.
Did he go right away as well?
The whole time I was giggling at him, and I thought, right then, so he's just falling in front of everyone. What am I going to do? So I literally went and got one of my mates' tubs of Vaseline. Vaseline every door from his house to...
Did he live on site?
Yeah, every door from his front door to his house to where he'd have to go all the way through to his office. every single door handle. So when everybody went to bed, it was just every single door handle. And he knew as well. He
Did he
knew.
prove it was you as well?
He didn't prove it, but he knew it was me.
He'll know it's you now.
He said his hand slid off 3 consecutive door handles. And he said he went salt.
Salt straight away. Yeah. Put a bit of salt in it. It might have a bit more worry. Oh mate, Ben Haining, what a man! He was my first S&C coach at Sussex, and he used to make us do pier runs.
Yeah.
So from Hove Cricket Ground to the West Pier, Brighton Pier and back, which is about 5.5k. And he used to call them fat burners, and he had to do them before 8:30 in the morning before training. And he goes, fellas, if anyone wants to do a fat burner with me tomorrow, I'll be setting the pace at the back. I need everyone in front of me. Because he was quite big at the time, or put weight on.
Yeah.
He was trying to lose a bit of weight. But we had just got a new sponsor called Multi-Power.
Yeah.
Right, so what he used to make us do, you see his fat burning runs.
Yeah.
Like, you had to do under 40 minutes for 5.5k. I mean,
40 minutes?
Yeah, because he was a fat burner, so slow and steady. But basically, it was his pace what you used to go at. So you had to be in front of him.
Right.
Otherwise, you're too slow. But as a professional athlete or aspiring professional athlete, if you're doing a 5k in under 26, 25, 7 minutes, you should not be an athlete.
No.
But Multi-Power just come into the supplement game.
Yeah.
And they sponsored the club. So he used to give us these protein bars after and these meal replacements. Mate, this meal replacement had like 700 calories and the bar had like 500 calories. So after that run, you're smashing in 1,200 calories plus breakfast. No wonder everyone put on weight, mate. So I think he got bollocked, or we all had a meeting saying you guys aren't eating right. But he used to give us these Multi-Power bars and it was like 500 calories a go on one of these bars.
Phenomenal.
So we had to keep doing these pier runs to get fitter and lose weight, but we were never losing weight because we kept eating these Multi-Power bars. But anyway, that's off topic. So this is what I want to ask you now. I want to know, you've got on the staff, you've done well, played a few games, and I remember speaking to you back end of 2017, 2018, so 2 years ago. And I said, do you reckon you're going to play this year? And you're like, I hope so. I'm probably next batter in the 4-day team, because it's 4-day cricket to start with.
Yeah.
And you said, the only spot I reckon I can get in is opening the batting.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you've never really opened the batting before, Phil.
No.
You've done it a little bit, but it's been not a 4-day cricket, and you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to crack on. It's my only opportunity. You started 2018 with that goal just to play batting anywhere.
Mm-hmm. How
did you adapt to it? And how did that first season go? Because I think that first season of you opening the batting in all forms was massive for your career.
Yeah.
You got your first 100 as well, first 200s?
Yeah, 200s.
Where you started teeing it up from ball one in 4-day cricket. How did that mindset change? Or better question, what did you need to do to essentially open the batting and realise this is my opportunity now, if I don't take it now, it's going to be another 6 months, 12 months, 18 months away?
Yeah, I started thinking like that because it's the first thing you're going to think. You've never opened a batting before, and all of a sudden you've been asked if you want to open a batting.
Yeah.
First thing I think is, I've not done that before. I won't be great at it.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to be great at it to start with, because it's just a completely different kettle of fish.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's a bit of a cliche, but failure just wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. For me, it was like, it's not going to be like, he's played 4 or 5 games, not got any runs, let's get him out of the team. Like, I knew I was going to do well. I believed I was going to do well, and I was working hard enough. I worked so hard with yards that
was it.
That coming back, I worked so hard. We were literally, before every training session, me and him were there early, because yards gets up at the crack of dawn. So me and yards would get there at 7 a.m, 7:30, and we'd be doing our drills, just me and him, and then we'd have active training after that.
So you were hitting a lot of balls.
Hitting loads of balls, but in a specific way.
So you're having proper practice.
Yeah.
Because I remember I coached a game. So I was also your, head coach of your club team. You played a couple of games in the start of that year, and the first 4 or 5 games you got a couple of 50s, but nothing really to write home about.
Yeah.
And I remember you played against Eastbourne at home, and you were 50 not out, and you started reverse sweeping the opening bowlers to deep cover. And I walked down the wicket, or I came out whenever it was, and I said, Phil, you're playing really well, but just get 100 and then start doing all this fancy shit. And you're like, but Matt. And you remember you looked at me and you're like, I don't want to, it's boring. Because it is boring sometimes when you're back. When you're in and the field is around, you're knocking singles around.
Yeah.
It can be boring.
Yeah.
And you got 100, You got 170, we chased down like 400. A ridiculous game.
Yeah, it was a belting game.
And then, I think not that was the moment, but that was the bit of form you needed at a lower standard to give you another bit of confidence for the first team. Because you got a couple of 50s in 7, 8 innings. I remember it.
Yeah.
You have sort of early 20s, and realistically on the team sheet, yes, you're playing well and you're working hard.
Yeah.
But then you played a league game, got 170. It doesn't matter what standard you're playing. If you get 100, 100, 100, and you're going to have confidence from it. And then you take that confidence from what you had done done well as a young opening batter, you had done it for the first time. You got 100 playing at a standard which is well below your standard, but it gave you that confidence to then go, oh, this is working what I was doing with yards in the club game, which gave you that next kick on. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you went from there. You got 140 against Derby,
Yeah.
where you were smacking Lockie Ferguson around.
Yeah.
Then you went into the T20 season and dominated.
Yeah.
Dominated out of nowhere, because I wasn't expecting that. I thought you would have a steady season all round.
Yeah.
But you dominated, didn't you?
Yeah, I did well. I think I averaged 37 at 160.
Yeah, so you had kind of found your way through, I guess, getting rid of the fear of failure, because as you said, failure is not an option.
No.
Doing it your way and working hard on specific things and proper practice with a coach.
Yeah.
That'd be fair?
100%. Absolutely. I remember there's a few things that went on in that off season which made me really think about what I was doing, and I went to Adelaide literally by myself to do the Darren Lehman.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough cash for it at the time, so I had to sort of go around asking family members, do you reckon you could lend us a bit of money, because I need to do this, and obviously I'll pay you back as and when, but I explained it, and I got enough cash together to do this Darren Lehman thing. And on over there, it was just a disaster.
So you went you went out your own way and gone, right, I need to improve and I need to go out there to better my cricket, to become better.
Yeah.
So you found a way, as you said, you didn't have the money to do it at the moment, but you found a way to go out there because you knew it was going to improve your cricket.
Yeah.
So you're taking yourself out of your comfort zone to try and be the best player you can.
Yeah.
Because you think long term it's going to help you.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, to be fair.
I got
and then you got out there.
Yeah, I got an
and you just said it was a disaster. Was it?
I met with the bloke first week. I said, this is not what it says on the tin.
Really?
I said, it was at some point, I'm sure, but this ain't what it says on the tin, mate, and I'm paying you good money here, so...
Because they had loads of good players. Joe Root went through...
You've got a track record
Scott Borthwick. They had decent players going through.
Yeah, they had a track record of producing good cricketers. But... bar the fitness stuff, because the fitness stuff was good, to be fair.
Aussies are mad for their fitness stuff.
Yeah.
It's all outdoors. You can.
But bar the fitness stuff, it wasn't the right thing. So I got the money and.
Did you cancel it then?
Yeah, I cancelled it on the
So you
spot.
went out there going, right, this is going to improve me.
Yeah.
So you borrowed all this money to get there. And you got there, and afterward you're like, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't going to help me.
No. So then
You could have quite easily just stayed on it, couldn't you? Tick the boxes.
Yeah, but I knew it wasn't gonna.
But a lot of people would have gone, I paid it now, I'm going to have to go through with it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they? I borrowed all this money, it's going to look bad if people go, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that.
Yeah.
What did he say when you cancelled it? Typical.
The bloke.
Did he go off?
Don't want to go into it.
Do you see him now? Do you see him now when you're in Adelaide?
No. To be honest, the coaches I got on fine with. The coaches were fine.
Sorry, I interrupt you there. I'm just excited about the story.
It was one of the bloke that worked in the offices that was a nightmare.
Was he?
Yeah, but these things happen. You run into these people in life.
Yeah, you do. So you cancelled it. So did you play out there? Did you keep playing?
Cancelled it. Kept playing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Got the money into an Airbnb instead.
Nice.
So I had somewhere to stay, and then big push on my fitness in the gym. I was quite literally every morning, eggs on toast, protein shake and something at lunch, and then one of those rotisserie chickens.
Oh, nice.
Over rotisserie
Coles,
chicken for
it?
dinner. Coles, exactly, yeah.
Coles. Spinning round.
Yeah.
And you get the little pots of salad you could buy as well. For
Unbelievable, Jeff. Yeah.
Some coleslaw when you're away.
Salad bar.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So I used to get that one chicken last 2 days, and I just worked as hard as I possibly could. There was a few lads out there that were sort of like-minded, and I got Mark Cosgrove to throw at me once a week, and he actually owe him a fair bit for just changing my thinking about county cricket.
Yeah.
Because as soon as somebody says to you, right, so I said to you, you're gonna take a batter.
Yeah.
From club cricket to county cricket. What are you gonna make him do? It'd be around off stump, leaving, blocking,
swinging ball in the UK, probably.
driving. It would be all that sort of stuff, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's literally said to me, right, you're playing county cricket. You're gonna face 2 bowlers a year, if you're unlucky, that can bump you out.
Yeah.
So you'll face one for sure. There'll be someone who'll have a quick overseas.
Yeah.
You know, your Lockie Ferguson, whatever, and then there'll be another bowler who you might copy as like a Hardus Villian. So,
or some youngsters come out of the academy that's everyone raving about it.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll face 2 bowlers a year who can genuinely sniff you up and bump you out.
Yeah.
So if that's 2 bowlers a year, what you're gonna have? If you play well, you'll have 6 spells of them.
Yeah.
If you play well, you'll have 6 spells of quick bowling to face all season. He said. So firstly, make sure you can play the short ball, but don't get silly. Don't 90 mile an hour whizzing it round your ears, because you'll just get under it. You'll take care of it, all the rest of it. Make sure you can hit the short ball well and score off it. And then the other way that people will get you out, swinging and nipping, hit you in the shin. So to get this shin outside leg stump and make it stay there. And then he just threw balls at me. Up and down, easy, simple, easy, simple. If it was full face of the bat. If it was short, pull it. And it was that simple.
And that was the game plan in it, 101.
And it was that simple. And that was Cozzie's game plan. So that was his game plan for county cricket, and he taught me through it.
He used to cut everything from middle stump, just stay leg side and cut it.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
How much?
Scored thousands of runs in county cricket.
How much sense does it make?
We break it down and keep it simple, and that's the thing. I think cricket's such a simple game overcomplicated.
Yeah, 100%.
The idea of the game of cricket, right, is to get as many runs as you can, as quickly as you can without getting out.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is get one more run than the opposition.
Yeah.
Bowlers, all you need to do, bowl your best ball over again, and the fielders need to stop going for runs.
Yeah.
That's it. But yet people worry about the head, the feet.
Yeah.
It's amazing when someone who's got a lot of experience breaks it down that simple and has been successful doing it.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that clicked for you and helped you?
100%. What it was one of many things. One of a sort of sequence.
Yeah.
That helped me out. Yeah, massively so.
So you had your time in Adelaide. You came back, had obviously a good season, and because you had such a good T20 season.
Yeah.
You got on the you got a trip to Dubai, didn't you?
I got a trip to Abu Dhabi to play for Lahore.
But that was in a because you played Yorkshire out there, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, it was Abu Dhabi T20.
So how did that come about? Because realistically, you've had you haven't dominated, but you've had a good year. And people are like, this kid's on the block, he can play.
Yeah.
But it's always that first season where people are like, oh, he's on the scene, he can play.
Yeah.
But is it a one-off? Because you see a lot of players, especially young players, they come on for a season.
Yeah.
And you don't hear him after.
Yeah.
Or they're at no disrespect to Derby or Leicester or Sussex now, but but 3-4 years later they're playing Division 2 cricket because they're just trying to find a career in the game. But obviously, how did that come about? Because obviously you must have a decent agent these days to
yeah.
get you on.
Well,
not in a rude way, but you haven't really been heard of.
No, somebody that backed me in.
Yeah,
that's for sure. He backed him to the hilt.
Yeah.
That much I know.
So you went to is it Lamsbad your first team?
No, it was Lahore.
Lahore.
And he got me an opportunity in there, keeping and batting. But obviously it was going to be, again, batting middle order.
Yeah.
And I'd not done it in 2020 cricket that far. So I was going over there saying, right, I've not done this before. I've really got to figure out.
And that's the amazing thing with the franchises, because you've opened the batting all your career.
Yeah.
You get picked up by a franchise team to keep, which you didn't keep in the domestic game.
Yeah.
You didn't really keep in second team cricket a lot when you were growing up, because there was always the reserve keeper that had to keep.
Yeah.
You've opened the batting, they pick you and they go, right, you're going to keep.
Yeah.
Brilliant, haven't really kept. And not only that, you're going to have to play in Dubai where it's spinning, it's hard work in the middle order.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, but
if you don't succeed, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
If you succeed, we'll take you on. And in a couple of years, you might open the batting.
Yeah.
That's how they think, isn't it?
That's what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And then you belted Yorkshire, and then you got like 30 off, not many balls.
Yeah, we needed 12 off the last, and I got what happened?
You hit Bresnan. I remember. I was watching.
I went four over his head first ball the over. I knew he was going to go slow into the wicket because he brought mid off up. It was mid off 45.2 and third man up.
So you knew he was going to go into the wicket.
I knew he was going to go into the wicket.
But he wouldn't have known at that time that slower ball into the wicket, top of off stump, is your strength.
Yeah.
Because you've been growing up,
Yeah.
what we touched about earlier on the podcast,
Yeah.
in Barbados,
Yeah.
or your baseball skills, that low strike zone,
Yeah.
which is your bread and butter.
Yeah. So he went leg cutter.
He's gone leg cutter.
He went leg cutter into the wicket, and I just gave myself room leg side, hit him over the top for 4, and then I got 1 off the next ball.
Yeah.
I thought, right, 5 off 2, done alright here, and I think it was Abdul Razak I was batting with at the time.
The 30-year-old that always stays 30 for
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years.
He's been 30 for 12 years now.
Yeah.
And he came down the wicket and he said, "These lights, I can't see the ball." And I went, "Oh no!" I literally,
OMG, young lad.
I was the other end going, "Oh no!" I said, "Okay, get one."
Yeah.
I said, "Just get one." And he's ran in, and Brez has bowled the ball. He's gone pace on length, and he swung so hard, Razak, and hit it straight like along the carpet to cow. And got me back on strike. I said, "Thank God for that."
Yeah.
So then that was 6 off 3, and then we still needed 6 off 3 because it was 12 off the last.
That's quick maths.
And yeah.
I think it's 6 off 3, yeah.
So we still need 6 off 3, and I gave myself a bit of room. Third man had gone back at this point, I think. So I knew Brez was going to go Yorker, and I hit it over long off. And from that point on, that was the first bit of like people sitting up and taking notice of me franchise cricket.
I think that's key because you can do it in your own country,
Yeah.
but the minute you do it overseas, people are like, "Oh, this kid."
It's a different kettle of fish, because whether you like it or not, there's a whole different pressure on you as an overseas.
You're bought to play.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not county cricket. There's 20 in the squad. If you don't perform, I'll take a couple of games out. Go to the second team.
Yeah.
You have 10 games. We are paying you X amount. You have to deliver.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not going to take you back.
Exactly. I mean,
that's how cutthroat it is, and I don't think people realise that.
No. So if you have a 10-game competition and you're an overseas player, the expectation is for you to win at least 3.
And
if
that
you win
is
3,
high.
if you win 3, you've done well.
Yeah.
And that's the expectation. If you win 4, you've done unbelievably well.
Because I was.
And if you win 5, that's freakish, and that's still 50% failure.
Yeah, but I was speaking to. It might have been Scott Styrus.
Yeah.
When he was overseas player at Sunderland. Scott Styrus, for those who don't know, one of the best finishers in T20 cricket, and I was lucky enough to play with him. And he said, as an overseas player, if you win 1 in 4 games,
Yeah.
it was him and Mark Robinson actually. If you win 1 in 4 games as an overseas player, they're happy with that.
Yeah. 1 in
So-
4 as well.
In the county season, then it was 16 T20 games. So they're like, well, if he wins 3 or 4 games,
Yeah.
he is worth his weight in gold.
Yeah.
Because if you have 2 or 3 of them, they're going to win half of the games.
Yeah.
But to win, what was it, 3 in 10, 4 in 10? That's tough.
That's what you got to do.
Especially when you're out of position.
Yeah.
And you've got to keep. Good
That's
luck.
what you got to do.
But that's what you got to do, and that's the cutthroat nature of the sport, which
Yeah.
people don't realise.
Well, people don't realise that, you know, there's a lot of lads that play county cricket, say franchise gigs, you know, everybody says
Cushy, good
everybody
money,
says
whatever,
gravy
yeah.
train, cushy,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. Lads don't know. I don't think that lads genuinely don't know how tough it is at times, and not just how tough the cricket is, because the cricket is tough. Different wickets, better bowlers.
But I think this comes down to mindset though, and I'm
Yeah.
convinced about it because you're bred slightly different. You're a bit of a maverick, and you're always backing yourself.
Mm.
Yes, you're very talented and you hit the ball hard and you hit balls in areas that other players don't.
Yeah.
But without being disrespectful yourself, there's a number of you in county cricket. But I don't think players put themselves under pressure or they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't want to have the failure of it.
Yeah.
They're quite happy going, do you know what, I'm going to play for a county,
Yeah.
I'm going to do well, tell people I can get loads of gigs so I don't want to get found out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to train, because county cricket at times can be quite easy.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
it can be quite a cushy gig.
Yeah.
And
Comfortable.
It's comfortable.
That's what it is.
And you
Yeah.
can see it at a lot of clubs.
Yeah.
Not so much the big clubs, the test match grounds,
Yeah.
because they're getting good overseas players in, and they've got young players who are playing international cricket coming through.
Yeah.
But no disrespect, hitting a half volley at 80 miles an hour, people can do that.
Everybody can
if
do
you've
that.
got a game plan, if you open the bat and you've got a game plan in 2020,
Tail enders can do that now.
exactly. If you've got a game plan in 2020, and you're a young player, you can pretty much execute that. I reckon.
Yeah.
If you switch on up top.
Absolutely.
But the next bit is being a good player, being that really, really good player everyone looks up to.
Yeah.
Because I noticed it with you this season. You look on Twitter, and I don't want to bring social media up too much, but you look on Twitter and people are like, Salt's got 40 again, or whatever it may be. But it's a keyboard warrior, he doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
Now, if you hadn't have gone and played franchise cricket, your 40 or 15 balls would be unbelievable. Oh my God, Salt's got 50 or 14 balls, whatever. He's kick-started the game, and we've got off to a great platform. That as an opener is worth his weight in gold. But because you're playing all around the world, people are like, 50 or 14 balls, well, he's got out 40 again. But they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand it.
I love social media.
Yeah, but they don't understand it, Phil. No. And that's the thing. Because you've played all around the world, they expect more of it off you.
I love
players don't want to do that because they want fucking Doris behind the keyboard going, oh, Phil got 50 or 14 balls again. Yeah. And actually, Sussex or whoever it is are 80 for one off 7. Yeah. Or 60 for one off 5, and you've got 40 of them.
Yeah, chasing 160.
And you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Just what you signed for.
It's really, I love social media because
it's crazy, isn't it?
Because it's just all the morons of the world who aren't knowledgeable about anything seem to just unite and come together on this one platform. On this one platform, and you open it up, and it's just dickhead after dickhead after dickhead, and they all got an opinion.
Their opinion's right though. Their opinion's always right. Always right.
And it's unbelievable.
How do you find managing social media though, playing around the world?
I find it...
Could you do like social media?
Yeah, you know what, you have to laugh at the end of the day. You have to remember who is sending you the message.
That's true.
Because let's say you get a message saying you're this, you're that. You have to remember who's sending you that message. Because I can promise you right now...
Dave from his 3 computers.
I can promise you right now, yeah. If, let's say, someone comes to the end of your drive, and he's saying, Oi, Matt Machan. You open the door, say, yeah? Says, you're shit, you got 40 off 20 balls again, you give it away all the time. You know what I mean? You just go,
cheers, mate.
Cheers, see you later. But because somebody's written it and it's right there and you can read it and you can read it again,
and you can reply instantly.
It does serious harm to people.
Yeah.
It does serious harm. And then the other side of it, which blokes also struggle with, because I've seen it, is when somebody says, oh, so-and-so's playing well. So they'll say, oh, don't look at that when you're not playing well. They say, look at it when you're playing well. So when people are tweeting you saying, oh, what a knock by Matt Machan. Matt Machan, what a player. Oh, he's worth his weight in gold, this, that, the other. But then you're watching that. You know, you're reading all of it.
So you're getting too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah, massively so. You're telling yourself again, like deep back in there, that it matters what these people are saying, and it doesn't matter. The only person that matters in your career is yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
That's true.
Let's say I go out there and I get 100. On that scorecard, it doesn't say PD Salt. With a bit of help from Mate, you threw some balls.
It doesn't.
Yards, he sent you Yards. Actually, WhatsApped a bit about mindset. So Yards is one name, isn't it? Yeah. At the end of the day, and that's the only person that matters. So if there's something you don't want to listen to, I remember coming through when I was on the academy, I used to hear some nonsense.
You still do, to be fair.
Yeah, I still do. I tell you about it, but I hear some nonsense about other people, about myself, and I hear other people say things about me. Gossip thinking, things always go around. Things always get back to you. And I literally every time I hear that now, I've practiced it being water off a duck's back.
Since you've progressed and you're playing all around the world,
yeah,
has your circle got smaller?
Absolutely.
You can trust and confide in?
Always going to.
Yeah.
Always going to. The more you realise it, because when you're coming through, everybody sort of means you well. Yeah. So everybody sort of wants to help you out, and then you have a bit of success, and then people realise, oh, hang on, he's having some success. You know what? He started later than me, and now he's moving past me. And jealousy creeps in.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, you can't hold it
against
anyone.
Human nature, isn't it?
Exactly. Everybody wants to be successful, but as soon as somebody see someone else doing better than them, or what they perceive to be as doing better than them, they want to drag people down. It's human nature. So that's why you've got to be really careful who you talk to and who you listen to and who you take certain bits from, because it can be really damaging if you're listening to the wrong people and you're hanging around the wrong people. The saying is, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with.
That's true. I read that.
That you are the average.
Circle of 5, they call it, isn't it?
Yeah. So even if you know that 4 out of the 5 people you hang out with are mugs,
you can become a mug.
If you're still hanging out with them, you are a mug by default. Even if you say, "Oh no, I'm not like him. I'm not like him."
You are.
I know what he's like. That's exactly who you are.
Yeah.
See it for what it is.
That's such an interesting point about social media, but also with more success, more people know you and will speak to you, but your team gets smaller.
Exactly.
And who you can confide in gets smaller, because
100%.
obviously you've got people that come in and help you out, but I bet you your people that you speak to closely now have been there since majority, I reckon 70%, I don't know this is what my guess, 70-80% have been there from the start of your career. Yeah. And there may be a couple that come in, like whoever, whoever may be a coach you got on really well with and you can confide in, you have form a really close relationship with, or an S&C coach, or whoever it may be. Yeah. But you've probably seen it firsthand. The people that struggle, teams get bigger. Yeah. They get him in, they get her in, they get this in, and all of a sudden, they're spinning too many plates.
100%.
Spinning too many plates, and they're not wondering, and they're not focusing on trying to hit a half volley for 4. Yeah. They're wondering about what their agent's going to sign up next with. Exactly. But your agent's not going to get you a deal unless you can hit that half volley for extra cover through 4. Yeah, exactly. And you lose sight of what your bread and butter is.
Yeah. I mean, the chances are, if somebody's mates with me, and we talk about cricket in the first hour of sitting down together, and this in the chat specifically not about cricket, chances are we ain't in the same circle. Yeah. As a fact, because all my mates, you, like Stewie, all the boys, we could literally fellas. Yeah. We could literally sit there for hours. Cricket would not come out of anyone's mouth at any point. It
doesn't. I mean, we've gone to watch Brighton play loads of times. Yeah. And there's been days where we have a circle of friends away from cricket. Yeah. That we kind of, I don't know how it formed, but we've kind of all, we have a common interest outside of cricket, another sport, football. And we'll go to games and watch Brighton play, and there won't be a single mention of cricket. No. From meeting at midday and leaving at 10 o'clock at the pub. There will not be one mention of cricket.
How good is that?
It might be, how's your week been? You might go, training was tough this week. I'm knackered from the gym. Yeah. Oh, cool, mate. Right, what do you reckon scores going to be today? What do you reckon about this? And that's why I love going to football when I got into football. Yeah. Because it took me away from my main job, which is cricket. Yeah. And I can become a fan of something else. Yeah, 100%. I think you're quite similar, and that's what I quite like about it. Because you can just chat waffle about cricket and get away from it. But people who want to get the gossip and know a lot, they'll see you every now and then. Phil, da-da-da-da. I know we chat about cricket a lot, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you learn, you figure it out quickly.
You do, don't you?
You figure it out quick.
You do. But moving on then, because that's worth its weight in gold, that social media stuff. And any young kid listening out there, take a slow step back from social media, especially these days.
I mean, it's not hard. Like I could open my phone up right now. I could go into message requests.
Oh, on Instagram, we probably have hundreds.
Yeah. He said all it says is 99 plus. When it comes to tournament time, and it's franchise competitions, it'll go to 300 plus requests, 500 plus requests.
Wow.
But I could open it now, and it's just it always like around 99 plus requests. Half of them are, "You're my favourite player in the world, I love you," and I'd say the rest of them are just some sort of nonsense, and then the last 5% are, "You are a pig fucker. I hate you.
Keyboard warrior.
I hate you. You are this. You're that. I'm gonna kill you."
Keyboard warriors.
All the rest of it. I find it absolutely bizarre. Why anyone would listen to that? Because I've got separate Instagram accounts now. Yeah. So if I want to send something to my mates on Instagram, they'll have my other account.
Then it'd be private, won't it?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a business page.
Yeah.
You are a brand. Phil Salt is a brand now, isn't it? I know you won't.
Annoyingly enough, yeah.
It is though.
It is. I have to.
And this is how I define a brand.
Yeah.
To a cricketer, you do not need one team to be successful.
No.
I I'm using county cricket because obviously we've been brought up in the UK. That one cricketer relies on that county for an income.
Yeah.
So they're associated to that brand. But when you have multiple people paying you to do the same thing, they're buying into your brand. So the mentality switches over.
Yeah.
You don't need them to be successful. They need you because you're going to add to them.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, becoming a brand and
100%.
being able to split themselves off from, geez, do you know what? I am a brand myself, but it doesn't change who I am.
No.
And you see so many idiots.
That's the biggest mistake
You
you
see
can
so
make.
oh my gosh, I'm playing all around. I'm the brand. I've got this. It's like you're just a normal bloke, and I think that's why a lot of people get on well with you because you're just a normal guy. You are. You are. You're so down to earth. I'm not buying smoke up your ass again, but you are. You are.
I mean, if you lose sight of that fact,
you're done, aren't you?
If you you are done. Imagine if I went around the place thinking, oh, you want to see me at a ball over cow corner? It's the best. I'm special. I'm better than everybody else. If you
or
really
you're
did
like,
that,
I'm like, Phil, can I get you my podcast, please? As the first guest. Yeah. Just get the rider to get me some M&M's, some bottle of water, and some Diet Cokes.
I should have done that. I'd love
should
a
have done
Diet
that.
Coke.
I'd have got my missus on the
I'd love a Diet Coke
off today. I've got one in the fridge.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can I have one?
Yeah, see if it's there.
Yeah, how good.
Just bear with me. I think I've got one.
Oh, this is the best podcast ever. I love this podcast.
You have one as well.
How good. Can I be the podcast guest next week?
Mate, we can get you on as much as you want here.
Oh, it's brilliant.
There we go, Phil.
Thanks, Matt. That's really nice. Thank you.
Now, I love the sound.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Cheers.
Cheers. Dilly dilly.
So moving on now, and moving on to obviously the last year or so, it's been whirlwind. Let's make no surprise. So from last year, from 18 months ago, you said you got to Dubai for the T20, your first ever franchise gig. And you went back, had an unbelievable summer with Sussex in 2019, unbelievable summer. And then you got Big Bash.
Mm-hmm.
You went CPL.
Mm-hmm.
For that final for
CPL
Barbados.
For the final. Yep.
You got signed by Islamabad.
Yep. Second year with them.
You got picked up in the 100.
Yep.
You got selected for England.
Yep.
And you've been in the England bubble, in and around the team now for like 18 months. Yet to play a game, officially. But you know when you're in and around the England team for so long, hopefully it's not too far away because they're obviously breeding you in and getting used to their culture. But going through the last 12 months, what has been the most significant change to you in order to allow you to be as consistent in each environment? Because playing around the world's tough, as you've said. People are expecting you to do really well.
Yeah.
But not only that, you have to perform.
Yeah.
So what has changed? Because, as we said, not even 2 years, 2.5 years ago, you never opened the bat in 4-day cricket, and you weren't even a regular on the Sussex side, to 2 years later, playing in those 6 franchise teams around the world, and knocking on England's door in the bubble.
Yeah.
What has changed? What's been the most significant point that's changed? Because it's something we've got to.
Mentality.
Mm-hmm.
My mentality around training. I think my mentality in everything. You know, that comes down to the smallest things. So your diet, what you're putting in your body, how much sleep you're getting.
So I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
Because I said to you about 15 months ago, I was like, geez, mate, you've lost a lot of weight. Because you've never been big.
No.
But you were stocky.
Yeah.
And you trimmed down a lot.
Yeah.
And I said, and you were already fit. And I said, why have you lost more weight? You're like, I've got to be fitter. If I'm playing in these hot conditions, I've got to be fitter.
Yeah.
And you've stayed at that size.
Yeah.
Even in the UK conditions, where you could put a bit of weight on and get away with it.
Yeah.
So that's the mentality shift. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh God, I remember playing.
Well, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. That's a good point.
I remember playing in those hot places, just sweating balls, running too, and it wasn't like I was out of breath, but I felt fatigued. And then as soon as I dropped a few kilos, I think I dropped. So if I'm 81 now, I was 89 then.
So you lost 8 kilos.
Yeah.
So you're one of the fit. So bearing in mind,
and my skinnies weren't over 80.
So if you're a pro athlete,
my skinnies were 70
in cricket. Your skin folds, which is an 8. It's basically a calipers. and it's 8 sites on your body,
Yeah.
and your skin folds has to be under 80 millimeters. If you're under 80 millimeters, that's fine, but usually they want you between anywhere, ideally under 70, but between 55 and 75 realistically.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be much fluctuation. So your skinnies are under 80.
It was
So you're
70 odd, yeah.
It's 70, so you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You're 89 kilos, and Phil's one of the fittest naturally on staff anyway. You're naturally an athlete.
Mm.
You're strong, you're quick, but you had to lose 8 kilos
Yeah.
to 81 kilos
Yeah.
just to be able to perform in those hot conditions.
Yeah. Well, I knew it'd help. I knew for a fact.
And that's
it
the
would help.
sacrifice you're saying. Go back to Adelaide. You went to Adelaide
Yeah.
because it's going to improve you.
Yeah.
You lose 8 kilos because it's going to improve you.
I went to.
Now, it might only be 5 or 10 runs,
Yeah.
but you add that onto a tournament, that's 100, 150 runs.
I went to India before T10.
Mm-hmm.
So
T10, I forgot about that as
October.
well.
Yeah. So October.
Yeah.
It was the. Can't remember exactly what day it was, but it was. I think I'd had.
It was straight off the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. It
I
was
think
straight
I had
off the
2 weeks
season. I
off.
said, what are you up to? Like, I've got 2 weeks off, I'm going to India.
Yeah.
Then you went straight to Dubai.
Yeah. So I had 10 days in
Then
India.
you came back to the UK for a week and went to Adelaide. I remember
Mumbai.
it.
Yeah.
So you went to football in between. I think Chelsea might be playing Brighton. I got your
Yeah.
ticket. You're like, can you get me a ticket?
Yeah.
Because I'm
That's
not
right.
round. I remember that.
That's right, yeah. So I went out to India, worked on playing at spin because I knew that would be important at the T10.
Yep.
So I thought, well, I can't afford not to go to this competition or
So
guns
you've
blazing.
invested in yourself yet again,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
So I knew I couldn't afford not to go there all guns blazing. And I went there and I batted middle order, lower order, sort of around there, and did well. Made an improvement on my T10 the year before,
Yeah.
which was great. So I was really happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy with the trip. And then when it comes round to the next competitive cricket I've got, which is Big Bash, you know, bar, I think it was an over of Chris Green, or whoever it is, I murdered spin.
Who's that lad you murdered out there? Afghanistani lad. Plays Middlesex as well.
Majib.
He's one of the world's best spinners.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and you were pongering, weren't you?
Yeah. But that's because I went out there to do that work.
So you're out your comfort zone, you trained really hard, you've come back, this is what's going to be my best place to get better, and then all of a sudden you've gone out and dominated, which is incredible.
It's no surprise though.
No, it's no surprise though, you put the work in.
Exactly, yeah.
If you'd gone out and done it randomly and not put the work in, it'd been, that's just luck.
Yeah.
Because you put the work in, you know you can consistently do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why your mentality's so good, is because you know you put the work in, you're consistently going to get the results week in, week out, and if it doesn't happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
Because you've banked the work. So then, obviously your mentality, and you're saying that's been the main thing, and how you're training and what you get out of training. So you obviously now know what you need to do to get your game in the best order.
Yeah.
So you know what you need to do before morning of a game.
Yeah.
Before week leading up to the game.
Yeah.
And also the areas you need to improve on.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that strikes me with you is your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You work on them, but you don't overly work on them, do you?
No.
But you work on your strengths more than anything, I reckon.
Yeah, because you have to. Because when it gets to top level cricket, it's not so much about just playing a game of cricket. You know, you might bowl it anywhere, or because sometimes county cricket does get a bit like that.
Yeah.
There's no sort of real plan. Almost, you know, I don't know how to word this, but there's no sort of nailed, boxed off thing someone's going to do.
But that's
It's
because
a lot of seamers try a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, but
whereas,
that's because I think, from looking in on it,
yeah,
not this year, it's different, but in years gone by, you're playing a 4-day game Sunday to Wednesday,
yeah,
you're travelling on a Thursday, you're playing a T20 Friday,
yeah,
and you're playing so much cricket,
yeah.
it's just like, there's no real...
Yeah.
So your skill level's going to be down, no?
Yeah, but it's true that. But like when I got called into the ODI group to play against Australia, Jay Roy might not have been fit, so I thought, okay, so there's a chance I might be near the team here or playing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it, and straight away, it's not like, let's say I face any random county seamer. It's like he'll try and swing a few in, try and swing a few away, like he'll try and nip a couple, he'll do this, he'll do that. Like, just got to watch the ball and react to it, and let my skill come out. Whereas if I'm going to play against Mitchell Stark, I know he's going to go full. try and hoop it, hit me in the shin first up, and then he's going to drag his length back and deck it across me.
Yeah.
And then I know that he's going to give me a proper bumper. He's going to give me 90 something mile an hour straight on the pip.
Yeah.
He will hit me there.
But do you think but do you think then, because you know what he's going to do, it's easier to train for?
It's easier to train at better intensity, yeah.
Because you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, better, definitely.
Because I've seen some players, I'm talking about county cricket, when you watch these best players in the world come in for a T20 period, they'll train for half an hour, they're off. This is what needs to be done. And you get Joe Bloggs, who's on the grind, playing every form, training for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're touching on there is the proper practice. This is what I'm going to do. This is the intensity I need to be at for half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to smash it for half an hour, then I'm done.
Yeah, you got.
I'm going to improve in half an hour training at that intensity, rather than 3 hours at 60%.
Yeah, you got to work hard, but you got to be specific. You got to know exactly what's going on. So like, I'm starting hitting again. When was the last game? What's the date today? Thursday. A week ago.
Yeah.
Last game was a week ago. I'm going to start hitting again in 3 days' time. But I know exactly what I want to work on. Now, if I didn't know exactly what I wanted to work on, and I thought, oh, you know what, my game's fine at the moment. You know, when the time comes and I've got to play cricket again, I'll get to it. I wouldn't be hitting. But then again, if I had that mentality, I wouldn't be a good player.
No, you wouldn't be.
I understand what I've got, and it's not like I'm Kevin Peterson or anything, but I understand that in order to get the best out of myself, I've got to work really, really hard. And that's why the thing that shits me is that I work so hard. I put myself in these situations. I go to India. I go by myself for 10 days. I went to India by myself.
That must have,
for 10 days.
Yeah, that's tough. Mentally, that's tough.
It was by myself. I had a bloke to pick me up and take me to the ground and back.
That is it.
Pick me up at 9 every morning, drop me off at 3.
That's it.
That was all I had.
That's tough.
Just chilled by myself, watching loads of TV, like just doing my thing, exploring Mumbai. I go to these franchise comps. I didn't get paid a penny for going to play for Lahore.
You just wait.
Yeah, but stuff like that, and just the way it all figured out. I've put myself in so many different places, and it cracks me up when people use this whole talent thing. Talent?
It's a myth, talent, mate.
Yeah.
Talent gets you so far, but then
talent,
after that...
Talent isn't the thing, you know, the guys will say, even at the top level, oh, so-and-so's talented. He's really talented. And I heard it all the way coming through the academy. I said, oh, he's talented, but he's this, but he's that. As I was saying, like, the stuff I heard that was water off a duck's back, it really makes me laugh, because talent is what is, in my mind, my 5-year-old nephew, you give him a bat and you underarm a ball, talent is him just having a hand-eye to hit the ball. But all of a sudden at the top level, somebody bowling you a proper bouncer and it coming through your head and getting on the back of it, hitting it out the middle for 4 or 6, that's not talent, that is skill that you've trained over and over and over and over and over for hours and hours and hours.
It becomes natural.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a natural instinct, that shot, but you have to get out of your comfort zone to work on it. And go back to that point about county grind, where there's players like you as talented, but they're not going to go to India on their own for 10 days. No. They don't want to put themselves under it.
No.
But yet they'll be jealous because you're getting all these gigs now.
Exactly.
But you've earned the right to get these gigs because of the work you've put in.
It makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh. But you can have peace of mind and comfort in yourself, knowing that you put the work in. Yeah. Now, obviously we've been chatting a while. I could talk for hours here, but want to touch on one last point here: the England bubble.
Yeah.
Going into that bubble for a long period of time. From the outside, it looks brilliant. Yeah. No one's playing cricket, just the England boys, and it is brilliant. Yeah. But that must have been tough. So what were the experiences, the good ones and the bad ones, from it? Because every experience is good and bad. Yeah. It doesn't matter if everyone says it's amazing. There's going to be some negative experiences. Yeah. And it must have been challenging mentally, being in your room, being in the confines of a cricket ground for 2-3 weeks. Yeah, it was. But then what went well? What were you happy with?
It's great to be in that environment. Yeah. With the big dogs. Like,
do you learn a lot with them?
Heaps.
Do you?
So much. Yeah. So much, because like I literally go in there, and I'm lucky to have CJ in this regard, because me and CJ talk about this all the time. Any environment I go into, I'll see who I want to be like. I say, watch the way J-Roy plays. I'll study the way J-Roy plays. Does that work for me? That's what he does. Do I do that? do I work as hard as Joss? Let's say, have I caught as many balls as Joss this week? Have I hit as many balls as Joss? What about Bluey? Is Bluey training at better intensity than me? And I'll go around these people. So most done a lot of fielding on that. Have I done that much? And you literally just go around, and the players you want to be like, you can just pick things from all of them.
How hard do these guys train then?
So hard. But what I was saying to you, they don't train. Some of them don't train for unbelievable periods of time. But what they do is at a really high intensity. And it's specific. It's nailed on. They know exactly what they want to do.
And when you went into that environment for the first time, were you shattered after those training sessions? In those bits, because it is how you come. It's a new experience. Or had you got the benefits of playing franchise cricket?
Yeah.
And learning off those other guys.
It wasn't it was not a surprise. In franchise cricket, you get 4 or 5 players in each team that are like that, and then in international cricket, it's everybody.
Yeah, right, got you.
So it wasn't anything I'd not seen before, but to be in that environment is exactly where you want to be as an ambitious cricketer.
100%.
That's A1. That is like dreamland.
Who's the hardest trainer you've seen then? Or are they all quite similar?
You know what? You couldn't pick one over the other because they all work that hard. What I love about it is I could go to anyone at any given time and say, "Can we do something?" Like I kept more than I batted when I went to the bubble. Really? Yeah. So I grabbed Frenchie, and even on days off, I knew I was only there for a week, and I had a Sussex game in 3 days at the Oval, which there was a chance I was going to get released for. So on the day off, I said, "Frenchie, can we catch?" He said, "Yeah, of course we can." So on the day off, he went out, grabbed the mats, the bowling machine, everything we needed, and we did an hour and a half on the outfield on what was supposed to be his day off. Because everybody's aligned to the same thing, being the best,
one common goal.
Being the best that you can be. And if you're being the best,
being the motto? Is it?
Not quite, but it goes without saying.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody's being the best they can be, players, coaches, support staff, whatever, then it can only be a good thing for the environment
100%.
and for the team. And everybody understands that there, which is something you don't necessarily get in county cricket.
No, but you are playing a lot more. But then you've got to decide, because everyone has to play county cricket.
Yeah.
You've got to decide: do you want to play county cricket and be a journeyman, or do you go, do you know what? I'm prepared to be a journeyman, but I'm going to put myself in the best possible position to try and play for England.
Yeah.
And that's something you do. What was talk about the bubble though? There must have been. Being in the confined area. I know you weren't in it as much as you would have liked because you got released for a few games. Yeah. But you got a taste of it. But it must have had its challenges.
The only challenging bit was just being in your room all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, the food. That was the most challenging bit. The food in Southampton. Was top drawer.
Was it?
But then the food when we went to to Old Trafford was not the same food as in Southampton.
Was it poor?
It wasn't poor, but it was just like you got used to it. You got used to a certain standard. So I had a lot of Nando's.
Did you?
I had heaps of Nando's.
What about at Southampton? Any fast food?
Oh God.
I want to be in South. I think it's got a story.
Yeah, there was me and Topper's got a couple of chicken select meals.
Yeah.
And I've ran down to the hotel lobby to get them through the lift. Thought belting.
Nice piping white chicken selects and chips.
Chicken
nice
selects.
Coke Zero or something.
2 Coke Zeros. So the drinks were in one bag in the cup holders, but it looked like
the delivery bag. They separated.
It looked like 2 wedgie off bags of Maccas. So I went downstairs, got it. I thought this will be a touch. Get out of the lift. No one's gonna see me. Get out of the lift. Walk straight down the corridor. A couple of selectors just walking straight back at me.
You want to make a good impression in the bubble.
Yeah, and I was thinking, oh no. And one of them goes, "What have you got there, Salty?" I said, "Oh, just some food for the lads." Kept walking, shift the blame. Peter pays for Paul, Paul pays for all. If I'm not going to get nailed with it.
Paul pays for all. That's brilliant.
Yeah, if I get nailed for this, these boys will as well.
I'm taking them down with me. But I think that though, like even just the fast food thing, people just forget how normal players are.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not a saint.
No.
You know, you go have a few beers in the pub every now and then, you eat fast food, you eat a chocolate bar. But that'll be every now and then, and it'll
That's
be a release.
the thing is that is.
So you're not getting Maccas in every night.
Once every couple of months.
Yeah, you're not getting Maccas in every night.
That's like a real naughty treat when you're.
You probably have a day off the next day.
Yeah.
You've smashed training in for a week.
More than that, it'd have to be more than a week. If I had Maccas, if I had a good week, if I had a Maccas for every good week, I'd have the guilt.
Every day, mate.
I'd have the guilt about me. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's got to be like a really well earned thing. Same as going out for a few beers. I couldn't just go out for a few beers.
That's one thing I have noticed with you. When I first met you when you were 18, you loved the night out.
Yeah.
You're always like, let's go for a night out to anyone.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll still come, but sometimes you won't drink or you have one or two
No, I
beers.
won't drink. I'll just slip off.
Unless
it's somebody's birthday or something, and I've got a good window.
Yeah.
I've got to have a good window.
Yeah.
I've got to have a long window where I can get myself right.
But it just shows you are normal.
Yeah.
And it shows that these guys playing professional sport at a top level are pretty normal, and they're not saints, but they know as and when to do it because they know ultimately that's going to affect their game.
Mm.
But we've been chatting for a while.
We have.
I could talk for hours again.
I know, me too. I'll have to come on again.
You've got to come on again. But obviously you've had a fantastic season again, fantastic couple of years, and I know you've got some exciting plans this winter, which I won't go into at the moment.
Yeah.
All will be revealed, I'm sure. But we might try and get you back on before that happens.
Yeah,
let's do it. So we'll do another one before it'll probably be the end of October, I'm guessing.
All over it.
But yeah, October, early November. But Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Good luck. Keep smashing it.
I certainly will.
We'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
In a bit.